Bonjour à vous tous et bienvenue à ce 57e épisode de Danganronpa Trigger et havoc. Mon nom est Riquez et j'espère que de votre côté, vous allez bien. Donc au courant du dernier épisode, on a écouté un fameux DVD ensemble qui était une interview du headmaster par rapport à tout le monde qui leur demandait s'ils voulaient rester ici, donc passer leur vie à l'école, et tout le monde avait l'air d'accepter jusqu'à temps que Monokuma intervienne et qu'il fasse en sorte que le fameux lecteur DVD explose. Donc il nous a coupé sa cour. Par la suite, quelques petites affaires se sont passées par-ci par-là, mais ce qui est le plus important, c'est le début du procès. Donc, les fameuses photos de Monokuma sont revenues sur la surface. Il a essayé de se jouer de nous tous en nous faisant pointer les uns des autres du doigt, puisque chaque personne était la personne qui avait pris la photo. C'est quand même assez ingénieux comme stratagème. Mais il est tombé dans le panneau parce que on a réussi à faire en sorte que ça passe complètement à côté de la plaque, tout ça, et ramener tout le monde sur le droit chemin. Donc, ce qui nous reste à déterminer, qui est-ce qui a tué Mukuro et Kusaba? On va le découvrir ensemble. Je vous souhaite un bon visionnement. C'est clairement pas un U6. Ok.
So who did it? Who killed her?
Whoever did it is the same one who's behind everything.
Oh fuck.
That much I'm sure of.
Je me suis planté
When you
solide
think
là-dessus.
about it, is the mastermind really here in the school?
Of course. They have to be here somewhere.
What makes you so sure?
What does make me so sure?
Exactly. You're just making stuff up. There's no way the mastermind is here. The mastermind is probably a million miles away.
Ok, fait que je sais c'est quoi.
Those masterminds always lurk off in the background,
Fait que
right?
c'est ça qu'on va utiliser pour briser ce que Toko vient de dire. On n'a pas le choix.
So who did it?
Whoever did it is that much I...
But when you is the mastermind?
Of course, they have to be.
What makes you...
Exactly. You're just making stuff up. There's no way the mastermind is here. The mastermind is probably a million miles away.
Oh wow!
Those
Il a tourné.
masterminds always lurk off in the
J'aurais dû
background,
frapper là.
right?
So who did it?
Whoever did it is that much I...
But when you is the mastermind?
Of course, they have to be.
What makes you so...
Exactly. You're just making stuff up. There's no way the mastermind is probably a million miles away.
Ah non?
Shoot!
Non? Wait a minute.
So who did it? Who killed her?
Whoever did it is the same one who's behind everything.
Wait a minute.
That much I'm sure of.
But when you think about it, is the mastermind really here in the school?
Of course. They have to be here somewhere.
What makes you so sure?
Wait, what? Ça prouve rien, son handbook. Par contre, celui-là. C'est logique, non? Il peut pas être a million miles away. En pour ça, on n'a rien d'autre qui nous dit quoi que ce soit dans ce style-là. Même le Headmaster, la photo, ça nous dit absolument rien. Ça, la fin, je peux voir, c'est ça. Mukuro Kusaba's profile, il dit absolument rien. Le control room fait absolument rien non plus. Peut-être une des phrases qui se dit.
What does make me so sure?
Exactly. You're just making stuff up. There's no way the mastermind is here. The mastermind is probably a million miles away. Those masterminds always lurk off in the background, right?
The one controlling Monokuma. Where is the mastermind? Ah!
So who did it? Who killed
C'est Mastermind, c'est que j'avais dans... Pourquoi j'avais dans la tête
Whoever
l'autre?
did it is the same one who's behind everything.
That much I'm...
But when you is the mastermind?
Pourquoi j'avais Headmaster dans la tête?
somewhere?
What makes you...
Exactly. You're just making stuff up. There's no way
Sorry,
the
guys, c'est ma
mastermind
faute.
is here. The mastermind is probably a million miles.
Objection!
That's wrong.
J'avais dans la tête Headmaster, je sais pas pourquoi.
There's no question that the mastermind is somewhere within the school.
How do you know? Did you find some evidence or something?
Ok, oui. Le
In
control
the
room.
back of the data center, I found a panel that controls Monokuma. The mastermind must have been using that to control him all this time, so there can't be any doubt. The mastermind has been inside the school all along.
There can't be any doubt. In which case, there also can be no doubt that the mastermind is one of us.
Non, parce qu'il contrôle Monokuma.
What? Why?
Recall what Mukuro told us Monokuma said to him earlier.
I'm sure I told you this already, but this killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students, and the only people to take a single step in the whole school, speak, since the killing game began, are those 16 students.
So if the mastermind is in the school, we have to assume it can only be that 16th.
But how'd they manage to survive all of this?
So we're the only ones here? It's not me! I'm not the
Ça
mastermind!
marche pas.
Well, it's not me.
Ok, contrôle.
Makoto!
What? Why me?
Cuz! It's super weird how you're the only one who survived being executed.
Oh, I get it.
Bon, ça
The
s'en
only
va
way
comme
he
moi.
could have survived is if he was actually the mastermind himself, right?
Ah, nuts! You got me! Wait! What are you trying to say?
Everyone, calm down. There's no reason to panic. The mastermind's true identity will become clear soon enough. Just as soon as we find out who killed Mukuro.
That's a good point. Rather than wasting time bickering, we should put our minds to work solving this mystery.
Yeah, well, how much time have we already spent talking about the murder?
He's right. What more is there to talk about?
If you want something to talk about, I think there might be one thing. We haven't fully established what Mukuro's fatal injury was.
Huh? But I thought we figured that out. She died when she got hit in the back of the head.
No, that isn't actually what killed her. It was something entirely different. Wouldn't you agree, Makoto?
Mukuro's actual cause of death must have been the other wounds.
I got it! All of the wounds covering her body. That's what really killed her.
Hey, now hold on a second. You did read the Monokuma file, right?
The body was covered with other wounds, but these were at least several days old.
It made it pretty clear. Those wounds were made at least a few days ago. So they can't possibly be what killed her.
Consider this. What if the murder itself took place at least a few days ago?
What?
What if, when we discovered her body, she'd already been dead for several days? If that's true, then naturally the wounds that killed her would appear to be however many days old.
That doesn't make any sense. Because she had all those wounds before she ever came here.
Nope.
Huh? How do you know that?
Isn't it obvious? She was the ultimate soldier, right? So that means, you know,
You're wrong.
she denied me before I could even say anything.
Oh non, ça y est, c'est parti! Ah!
Come on. I mean, you think I'm not weird, okay? At least listen to what I have to say before you deny me.
If you're so sure we're gonna deny you, why bother saying it in the first place? Et c'est reparti! Un autre round. Oh mon dieu, il y en a tellement, c'est l'enfer.
Mukuro was the ultimate soldier. She must have been in 100 different battles. So, when you think about it, obviously, she got all those wounds in battle.
Are you finished?
You didn't deny me this time, Wimsey. You made me go all cutesy.
Don't worry, there wasn't anything cute about it.
Oh my god. The victim was the ultimate soldier who strolled across the pleasant battlefield. Is that how she got all those wounds?
Mukuro was the old.
Ok, fait que ce qu'on a. According to the Headmaster report, Mukuro didn't have a single scar or wound when she came to home speak. Lève-le, Mukuro Kusaba's profile.
She must have been so. When you think about it, obviously she got all of those wounds in battle.
Are you
Je
finished?
pensais pas qu'elle allait continuer de grossir.
You didn't deny me.
Don't worry, there wasn't anything cute about it.
Mukuro was the ultimate soldier. She must have been so. When you obviously she got all of those wounds.
Oh,
in
come
battle.
on!
Are you finished?
Faut que je vise en plein milieu si je veux être sûr de l'avoir.
Don't worry, there wasn't anything cute about it.
Mukuro was the ult. She must have been so. When you think about it, obviously she got all of those wounds in battle.
Ok! Wouh! Objection! On va l'avoir, guys. On va l'avoir. Ça avance bien à date.
No, Mukuro didn't suffer those wounds in battle. The file we found in the headmaster's room said as much. Despite the time she spent in battle after battle as a member of Fenrir, when she entered this school, she hadn't sustained a single injury.
To be denied so completely. Actually, it's kind of refreshing. Maybe it's because of all of Master's training.
Oh my
Anyway,
god.
so we can be sure that Mukuro suffered all those wounds after coming to this school, in which case, they could be the very thing that killed her.
As a matter of fact, it's hard to imagine any other possibility. When examining her body, I found that her stomach and head wounds came after she was already dead.
Unless anyone has any better suggestions, I think we can say this with confidence. The wounds Mukuro sustained all over her body are what ultimately killed her.
Nice.
But if that's what killed her, then does that mean she's really been dead for who knows how long?
That's exactly what it means. When we found her body in the garden, she'd already been dead for several days.
So then, what about the little matter of what happened last night?
Ouais, ça.
Makoto, you said you were attacked in your room by a masked assailant. If Mukuro had already been dead for several days, certainly it couldn't have been her.
C'est sûr que c'était pas elle, c'est
So
le
who was
mastermind.
it that attacked you?
That it do the one who attacked me. I can't think of anyone else. The mastermind.
I got it.
Ça peut pas être autre chose.
The one who attacked me was the true mastermind. When we discovered Mukuro in the garden wearing the same mask, I naturally assumed she must have been the one who attacked me, but I was wrong. It wasn't her at all. It was the mastermind.
What are you laughing at?
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just getting a little impatient sitting here listening. I think I'm gonna jump in. Let's
Qu'est-ce qu'il va
start
faire?
off with a nice, easy question. Your assumption that I attacked Makoto is just that, right? An assumption. You can't really know who was under that mask, can you? I mean, that's the whole point of a mask.
Effectivement.
The true identity of the masked attacker is Mukuro Ikusaba. At least, that's what I think. Do you have any evidence that might convince me otherwise?
No, there's no way Mukuro is the one that attacked me. Even if I didn't see their face. J'ai vu sa main. Il y avait pas le Fenrir. If you compare what we know about Mukuro and to the masked attacker. It should be obvious. On a vu ses deux mains. Il y a pas le tatou.
You never saw their face, right? So you can't have any idea who was under that mask. I'm telling you now, it was Mukuro Ikusaba.
You're wrong. Even without seeing their face, there's another part of the attacker we can use to prove it wasn't her.
C'est vrai ça, je disais.
Oh? And what is this other part? Is it the right hand? Or the left hand? Maybe the right foot? Or perhaps the left foot?
Ah,
Or
man.
could it be the hips?
Pourquoi j'ai pris right foot? C'est pas ça partout que je voulais prendre. C'était sur la main droite? Ouais, c'est sur la main droite. On en retourne.
I'm telling you now, you're wrong. There's another part of the...
Oh? And is it the right hand or the left hand?
Maybe the... Or perhaps... Or could it be... The hips?
J'aime savoir. Elle a accéléré, c'est malade.
You never saw their face, right? So you can't have any idea who was under that mask. I'm telling you now, it was Mukuro Ikusaba.
Oh non! Oh non! J'ai lancé 2 boulettes back-à-back! Ah! J'avais oublié que ça enlevait la boulette! Pas tard.
So you can't have... I'm telling you now, you're wrong. There's another part of the...
Oh? And is it the right hand or the left hand?
Maybe the... Or perhaps... Or could it be... The hips?
You never saw their... So you can't have any... I'm telling you now, it was...
Boom! Objection! Il y avait le Fenrir sur sa main droite.
Mukuro had a tattoo on her right hand, if I remember correctly. A representation of Fenrir. In other words, a wolf tattoo. But I saw the right hand of the person who attacked me. And there was no such tattoo. So there's no way the person behind the mask was Mukuro.
Yeah, well, okay. You got me. I guess it wasn't her. But that still doesn't prove that it was me. It could have been, someone else, right?
Hiro, Toko, Hina, and I all have solid alibis for that entire night.
Kyoko qui s'est battu.
We were in the gym tearing you apart, so it couldn't have been any of us.
Oh, okay, sure. It couldn't have been any of you, but what about Kyoko? It totally could have been her. Uh-oh, no snappy comeback? Did I score a bullseye?
If you insist, I don't mind showing you.
Huh?
Les scars, elle a des blessures sur
What
les
do you
mains.
think? I'll show you the one thing that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it wasn't me.
Before anyone could say anything. Elle a enlevé ses gants. Ah, elle était brûlée sur les mains. Kyoko was removing her gloves.
Your hands!
Without thinking, I let out a gasp. It was more than just a little burn skin.
Awful, isn't it? It happened when I was first learning to be a detective. I was inexperienced.
I thought you didn't want anyone to see those scars.
If it means we get another step closer to unmasking the mastermind, it doesn't really bother me.
Kyoko seemed to savor the words as she said them. Then she put her gloves back on. Fait que ça peut pas être elle non plus.
My scars should suffice as proof. Makoto, did the person who attacked you have scars like mine?
No.
No, not at all. I'm positive.
Then this much has been made clear. There can be no doubt that the one who attacked Makoto is the true mastermind.
This is just awful.
On vient de prouver avec texte par un de nous autres.
Being revealed, I had to look at those positively grotesque scars of yours. Sorry, did I say that out loud? I do hope I didn't hurt your feelings.
Not at all. You can say whatever you want.
Sure, as long as it means pushing me farther into the corner, right? But I'm not cornered just yet, because if you haven't noticed, the circumstances surrounding Mukuro's death are totally unknown.
That's true. All we know right now is she was killed a good while before this morning.
On the contrary, we don't know anything other than that.
Il y a juste une personne qui a été
You're
tuée
not going to tell
dans les
us she was
16
already dead before we arrived here or something, are you?
qu'on n'a pas eu de procès. C'est Junko.
In that regard, you have nothing to worry about. I promise you, without a doubt, she died
C'est la
after
seule.
our little killing game began
C'est
here.
la seule.
And somehow, she was killed in secret without any of us knowing.
And after she died, who knows how much time went by before we found her, right? Did the culprit stash her somewhere? She couldn't have been in the garden the whole time, could she?
If she was, she would have been totally decomposed.
Elle était dans le
Just
frigidaire.
like your brain.
Then she was being stored somewhere?
Dans le biolab.
But to hide a body here, to just store it somewhere?
There's only one place. I can think of anything else the body could have been stored. The
I got
biolab.
it.
Let's go!
Mukuro's body was probably kept hidden in the biolab.
The biolab? You mean on the 5th floor?
Right.
That's right. It's actually set up for use as a morgue. So it's the perfect place to hide a body, and it'd keep the body preserved at the same time.
Then you're also saying the body was moved from the biolab to the garden.
And I have no doubt that that's exactly what happened. In fact, I have proof.
The proof that shows the body was carried from the le tarp.
I got it!
Et voilà.
What makes me so sure the body was carried from the biolab to the garden is the tarp
La
that we
fameuse
found in
bâche.
the garden. When I was checking it over again, I noticed something. I noticed that some text had been stamped on one corner of the tarp.
Oh, it says biolab.
Holy cow! How'd you notice that tiny little thing?
Makoto's nitpicky nature seems to have surfaced with perfect timing.
This proves that the tarp originally came from the biolab. In fact, there's a whole stack of tarps just like it in there.
So when the killer moved the body to the garden, they must have grabbed a tarp to wrap it in. Then they simply left it as it was to protect against the sprinklers, and put the coat on it afterwards.
Exact.
You made everything sound so amazingly consistent.
But that's just a wild guess.
Il est dans marbre.
Where's your evidence? Prove that the body was wrapped in a tarp and moved.
There is no evidence. I was simply explaining what I think, but you seem to be getting pretty worked up about it, wouldn't you say?
Worked up?
Now that the conversation has turned to the topic of the biolab, you must be getting pretty nervous. Because the key to uncovering your secret identity is hidden within that room, isn't it?
Are you talking about unmasking the mastermind?
You see, the biolab contained an inconsistency. One so major it can't be overlooked.
Il y avait 9 lumières puis 10 morts. Could you be talking
La,
about?
la, la, I can't hear you. La, 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 la.
Such a child. Oh well, just ignore him.
I'm I need to pull myself together and think. The inconsistency in the biolab could you be talking about?
Hey, by the way, Makoto, what about that one thing?
What one thing?
Ce qui est gossant.
What do you think? I'm talking about your family.
What?
Don't tell me you forgot about that video message.
Le maudit, il a pas le droit de ramener ça là, là.
So what do you think? Are you sure your family's still okay?
Why are you bringing that up now?
Your mom, your dad, your little sister.
Il a pas le droit de faire
What do
ça.
you think has happened to your family? Are they really as safe as you might have assumed?
Stop talking about that!
Calm down, Makoto. He wants you to get upset.
Yeah, I need to calm down. I can't let him get to me. He's just saying that because he knows we're getting close to the truth of the biolab. So if I want to shut him up, I need to expose the inconsistency and slam him with it. Let's go! So, damn it, j'haïs ça, j'haïs ça.
Are you sure about this? Are you sure about this? What? What do you want? Are you sure about this? Proof! 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 Are you sure about this? Proof! 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 Are you sure about this? Are you sure about this? What? What do you want? Are you sure about this? Proof! 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 Are you sure about this? Proof! 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 Are you sure about this? Are you sure about this? What? What do you want? Are you sure about this? Proof, proof, proof! Are you sure about this?
Let's go.
I'm not listening!
Come on!
This should prove it.
Bon, merci.
The inconsistency Kyoko's talking about is the lights.
What are you talking about? What about the lights?
Like I said before, the biolab also acts as a morgue. And as part of that, a giant refrigerator was installed in there. That's where everyone who's died is stored.
And it was set up so that when a slot had a body in it, a blue light would turn on.
In other words, if the blue light is on, that means there's a body in that slot.
But I counted up the number of blue lights that were on, including the one Mukuro was in, and there were only 9.
Why does that matter? You gotta give me the bite-sized version here, man.
The lights doesn't make sense. The number of lights that should be is 10 lights.
I got it!
If you have eu 10 morts.
10 of the lights should have been on. Any other number is incredibly suspicious.
Suspicious? Why?
That's simple. Just recall who's died here so far, and it should become clear.
That's right, that's the key to solving this mystery. Sayaka died first. Junko was second. Leon was third. Chiro was fourth. Mondo was fifth. Taka was sixth and Denifumi was seventh. Celeste was eighth. Takura was ninth. And victim number 10 was Mukuro. So 10 people in all.
That's right.
Any
other number should make you immediately suspicious. But according to the lights in the biolab, only 9 people were being stored there.
You're saying a dead body just up and disappeared?
I got it! The mastermind destroyed one of the bodies.
The
to
mastermind,
get rid
c'est
of
un des
But
buddies.
if they wanted to do that, they would have destroyed Mukuro's body, since they actually killed her. And yet, her body was left alone.
Then, whose body disappeared?
It may very well be that none of them disappeared.
But if that's true, then why doesn't the body count match?
Including Monokuma's executions, there have apparently been 10 deaths. But there were only 9 bodies. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I'm completely lost. How can the number of victims be less than the number of murders?
The reason there are less bodies than murders. The explanation for more murders than victims. Why is that? What would it take for that to make sense?
I got it!
C'est la
What
fin.
about if the same person was killed twice?
Huh? Killed twice?
Officially, 10 murders have been committed so far, but one of the victims may have been murdered, and then murdered again.
Murdered and murdered again?
If that's the case, there could have been 10 killings, but still only 9 victims, right?
C'est vrai.
Technically, you're right, I guess. But still, something like that.
Could easily have happened. No, it is what happened.
Sounds like you're already convinced. Then can you tell us who was killed twice?
Selon vous, qui a été tué 2 fois? Donc, pas nécessairement d'affilée, mais 2 fois au courant de cette aventure. C'est bien ce qu'on va découvrir ensemble au courant des prochains épisodes. Vous pouvez toujours laisser en commentaire ce que vous pensez. S'il vous plaît, ne spoilez pas la réponse à tout le monde si vous le savez déjà. Donc, si vous voulez voir l'action en live sur Twitch, vous allez avoir le lien juste ici. Sinon, vous pouvez toujours le retrouver dans la description de cette vidéo. Je vous souhaite une excellente fin de journée ou une excellente fin de soirée, tout dépendant de ce qui s'applique à vous. Et s'il vous plaît, prenez soin de vous, guys. C'est important. Et à la prochaine. Bye bye.